Hello! I am hopping on to talk about another myth or fact, and today we're talking market saturation. Have you ever thought, man, I'd like to join like that network marketing company or direct selling business, but it's saturated. Everyone's already using the products, they've heard of it, or they're building the business. Have you ever thought this or heard this? Hey, before we jump into today's training, welcome to my channel, the Parisi Pack. I'm so happy to have you here. My name is Stephanie Parisi, and I am the leader of the Parisi Pack. It is my private coaching community on Facebook. I love helping busy moms grow their influence and their profits using social media strategies that actually work. If you like what you're hearing, hit that subscribe bell and let's dive into this. This is a legitimate question, like market saturation, 100% legitimate. I get it asked pretty much every single week when I'm talking to different people that are thinking of starting their own business. They ask the question about saturation, and I think it's a good question to ask. So if you have the question, please do not knock yourself in any way, shape, or form. First, let's define it. What is market saturation? The volume of a product or a service in a marketplace has been maximized, so the entire customer base has already been serviced. At the point of saturation, a company can only achieve further growth through new product improvements, taking existing market share from competitors, or through a rise in overall consumer demand. That is, in essence, what market saturation is. Pretty much the product or the service is like maximized. And we're gonna get into some more facts. There's something that I wanna bring up first before we get into that, because I think that our mindset should always trump the action. The saturation concept can be used in a very negative way to say that anyone thinking of starting their own business with such and such company, or maybe it's your own dream, does not have a chance to succeed. All I can say to that negative thought is it's a bunch of hogwash. If you missed me on week 1, I talked a lot about this and the idea that people succeed in this industry based on the work that they put into it. I want to give you a thought. To some extent, every single market in some way, shape, or form is saturated. Very, very rarely is the lone pioneer waltzing into brand new territory unscathed from the journey. It just doesn't happen. You don't step foot into this untouched, lush land, so even the most fertile markets in some way, shape, or form are already inhabited. And it's just sometimes that those there don't always see the value of the land that they're in. Second, and this is bigger than point number 1 there, okay? The fact that every single market to some sense is saturated. This is huge. If you take anything away from this, take this. Nothing incredible was ever built off the premise that, well, there's not much competition, so I'm just gonna win by default. Boom, right? Is that not powerful? What a pathetic mindset. Think about it. Do you think that Michael Jordan woke up one day and said, basketball's really, it's not a saturated sport. I think I'll pursue it since I have a really high likelihood to succeed. He did not say that, no. Steve Jobs did not sit in his garage and say, technology seems like the best bang for my buck. I think I'll get in early since the market isn't saturated yet. Another super powerful one. The world's greatest founders, musicians, athletes, innovators, and even explorers really didn't care at all how saturated the direction of their pursuit was, because they weren't driven by the calculated rate of success. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't anything wrong with the numbers, and we're gonna get into the numbers in a little bit. I'm a super numbers-oriented person, so I get it. Some people need the numbers. With that said, the people that really succeed are the ones that don't care if the odds are stacked against them. They're just determined anyways. They're just willing to do the do. Which means if you're one of the people who chooses not to pursue an idea or an industry that you're genuinely interested in just because it's too saturated, all I would say is you probably don't have it in you to be great anyways. Maybe that's like a lot of tough love and I just said that, but I really do believe that. Now, mindset aside, okay, so I do think that mindset, where your heart is in the matter of like wanting to work hard and do well at it, I think that's huge. Let's get into some of the numbers. So we already went over like what the definition of market saturation is. So the volume of a product or a service in a marketplace has already been maximized. What is market share? These are like straight textbook definitions. Market share has to do with saturation. So the percentage of customers that a company serves. You can actually figure out the market share. It's pretty cool. So when a company has 25% market share, they're in a dominant market position. So it's the percentage of overall, like all their customers that they serve. When a company has 40% market share, it's considered saturated. And this is all from the book Small Business Marketing for Dummies. You can actually calculate what your company's market share is. And I'm gonna show you how to do this. Take a piece of paper, and on the top of the paper, you're going to put the company's total sales, so company total sales, and you're gonna divide that by the industry total sales. Good thing I like math. Shout out to my math teacher, okay? So the company total sales divided by the industry total sales. I did this. So for instance, for my company, we had a $1.5 billion in revenue, okay, in sales in North America. And then the entire industry had $20.1 billion in sales. That equals a market share of 7.46%. If you go off of the research that I just stated, a company that has a 25% market share is in a dominant market position, and if you're at 40%, then the market would be saturated. For me, that 7.46% is really, really good. Is market saturation a fact or a myth? This is most likely a myth. Not everyone is already selling it. 3 final questions to ask about saturation. 1, do your own survey. Ask friends, acquaintances, people you meet, hey, have you ever heard of this company? Then follow up with, if they have, say, oh, hey, great, like, have you experienced the products already? If they haven't, then you know that they haven't heard of the company. The next thing to ask, the person that you're considering joining in business, ask them what the current market share is of their company. Say you sell protein powders or shakes, of that entire industry, what percentage do they currently have? So you can actually know where they're at when it comes to saturation. And if someone doesn't have any idea or doesn't know, or if you're looking them up, say like on any normal company should be like when it comes to direct selling or anything, should be posting their revenue stats like online, free to the public to look up. That is your myth or fact for this week. Thanks. Are you looking to grow your influence and your profits online? Then grab your spot in the Parisi Pack, my private coaching community. You can find the Parisi Pack on Facebook.